no. What the hell happened to the internet today? Facebook, down. I think it's still down. WhatsApp, down. Instagram, down. StreamYard had been down. We're back. It's exactly what's been going on. Chris Adams writes in, wow, is the show on? PB Matthew, I'm confused. Yeah, I've got the tinfoil hat. Oh, and you know what? Hold on. I had this ready to go today, actually. I even cut a mouthful this time. Yeah, I was fully expected to start the show today. You know, well, let me just explain to those who have, because I think some of the people who are in here with us live had actually had their computer on or their phone, their tablet ready to watch us at noon, and then just forgot about it and just left it sitting there. Then all of a sudden, oh my God, here we are out of nowhere. So with everything that was down today, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, which are all under the same ownership. I don't think StreamYard is the program that we use to broadcast live. Very good interface, very user-friendly, really easy to stream live through YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, all that. So StreamYard today, which I don't think is owned by Facebook, who owns all those other things, was down from 11:45 right before we were about to go on the air at noon, and it had been down until about 25-30 minutes ago. And so we're back. So I don't know what happened. The stadium had the nerve to play the Miami Dolphins theme song while the team was down 20-3 in the fourth quarter. Yeah, so, and we'll get to all that. We'll talk a lot of Dolphins today. We'll talk some Miami Heat as well. Miami Heat, the Heat and the Panthers can save us. The Heat and the Panthers have the opportunity to save us because my football teams are in the mud, and that's the reason why I've got the paper bag with me today. Miami Hurricanes got embarrassed at home on Thursday night. I mean, I know the game was close and they had a chance at a game-winning field goal, but losing to Virginia at home is embarrassing, okay? Then the Miami Dolphins flat out embarrassed themselves at home yesterday. So I am relegated to a paper bag, but I've also got the tinfoil hat on today, because some of the most commonly used social media apps and websites had been down today. I will say, though, that while all of that was going on, you know what's been pumping today, my friends? BTC. Bitcoin has been pumping today. I don't know if the two of these things are related, if this is the great financial reset, if there's something going on behind the scenes, but Bitcoin has been pumping today. Thank God for that. So we're going to be with you guys until, and Chris Adams writes in, crypto market getting ready to boom. Got to get all the 5G ready. I like this guy, Chris. I appreciate those who stuck around. I think some of you have been waiting and using the chat feature for the last almost 3 hours. I want to remind you guys, before we get into the meat and potatoes of these conversations, we are brought to you, as always, served by the Quarterdeck Seafood Bar and Neighborhood Grill. The Quarterdeck, make it your spot, my friends, to watch every UFC pay-per-view fight for zero cover charge every football weekend. College football Saturdays, NFL Sundays. Watch all the games on the big screen, flat screen, high-def TVs, covering every wall at the Quarterdeck. It's a beautiful place to be during football season. And Saturdays and Sundays during football season, take advantage of the 5 for $15 ice-cold bucket special at the Quarterdeck. Heineken family of beers and High Noon hard seltzer. Mix and match those to your heart's content in those ice-cold buckets, 5 for $15. The Quarterdeck has 2-for-1 happy hour all day, every day. You know, I love those 2-for-1 margaritas at the Quarterdeck. The seafood is delicious. It is so fresh. The fresh mahi-mahi, the sushi, build your own poke bowl. The sandwiches and burgers are absolutely awesome at the Quarterdeck. Make it your spot for every football game, every UFC fight with zero cover charge. If you want to peep their menu before you go or find the location nearest to you, visit them on the web at quarterdeckrestaurants.com. The Quarterdeck, come for the food, stay for the fun. And we have our official sportsbook, BetUS. You can bet with the 3-decade leader. We had overall a pretty good football weekend. Had the Cleveland Browns -2 at Minnesota. They covered. I actually had New England covering the spread. The Patriots were 7.5-point underdogs. We bet the Patriots to cover. It was a 2-point game in Tommy Brady's return. I did lose on the Miami Dolphins, though, but 2 out of 3 ain't bad at BetUS.com, America's favorite sportsbook. Guys, this is a full-service sportsbook. They have odds on almost anything you can imagine, including horses, pop culture, and of course, all the sports leagues you can think of, including the National Football League. You can get a 125% sign up bonus if you sign up with our code. This is a great time to get in at BetUS because not only do we have football season kind of hitting the next gear now, Miami Heat, they play preseason basketball tonight. You can bet on preseason. I don't know if I advise that. You can bet on preseason. Regular season is going to be here before you know it. You can bet all these games at betus.com. If you sign up with our promo code 5RSN125, they're going to give you a 125% sign up bonus. So if you deposit $100, they're going to give you $125 of free play money on top of that $100. How good is that, my friends? You can bet sports, casino. I play blackjack in there sometimes. Bet on the horses, pop culture bets, and more at betus.com. You bet, you win, you get paid. betus.com. Now, today is Monday, my friends. And, last Thursday, after, some information I was given on Wednesday, we talked about how, watch out for Monday. Monday could be a day where you see some movement on the Deshaun Watson front. Unfortunately, I don't have anything new since the game was played yesterday. I would love to be a fly on the wall right now in Mr. Ross's office, okay? Because you saw Stephen Ross in the owner's box sitting next to Roger Goodell. Mr. Ross had his binoculars, and when things started to go south, in the Dolphins game against the Colts yesterday, Stephen Ross, he wears his emotion right on his sleeve. You could see how unhappy, you could see how distraught he was. I guarantee you he wants changes to go on in there. Now, I think there's a lot more that needs to be done, than just getting a quarterback. That's part of it. But offensive line, guys, how is Austin Jackson able to get on the field consistently? He sucks. I'm sorry. He sucks. I made excuses for Austin Jackson last year because I think he deserved a few excuses. With COVID and injury last year and coming off of giving his sister bone marrow, which is a wonderful thing to do. He's a great human being for doing that. But as a football player, Austin Jackson, as a left tackle in the National Football League, the guy is an absolute turnstile. How bad is Greg Little that he can't even be active and get a chance? I think he deserves a chance to play. So I'm getting a little sidetracked. As far as Deshaun Watson goes, I don't have anything new since the game yesterday. So, we were all kind of wondering, is something going to go down on Monday? There's no white smoke coming out of the Vatican that would indicate something's happening today. So I'm a little bit in the dark right now. The last thing that I heard on, I think it was Saturday afternoon, so before the Dolphins played yesterday, like this. Useless. Oh, I thought he was talking about me. He's talking about Austin Jackson, I think. Thank you. I thought I'm useless because I don't have any new smoking gun on Deshaun Watson. I don't have anything definitive. The last thing that I heard, I was told this independently, and I know that Jay Glazer did send something out with a similar effect, that from everything I understand, the ball is in the Houston Texans court right now. That's what I was told, that the ball is in Houston's court, that they seem to have kind of an understanding with the Dolphins as to what the Dolphins are willing to give up, that the ball is in Houston's court right now, deciding if they want to make the deal right now. Something else that I was told that's kind of interesting. This would be really, really petty if true, but it makes a little bit of sense. Remember, the Houston Texans play head-to-head with the Miami Dolphins on November 7th, okay? November 2nd is the trade deadline. Now, if the Dolphins really, really want Deshaun Watson, and I think they do, and I think the owner really wants Deshaun Watson, obviously they would want to try and make that happen as soon as possible between now and the November 2nd trade deadline. But from the Texans' point of view, Nick Caserio would much prefer to wait until the deadline, because if they were to deal Watson to Miami, if you do it November 2nd, he likely would not be ready to start against you on November 7th. Let's remember, Caserio, his own job is going to be judge. I know he's new there in Houston, but the Nick Caserio era in the Houston Texans has not exactly started off on a high note. The team is awful, and your quarterback doesn't want to play for you. He has issues of his own, of course, with all the lawsuits, but even before the lawsuits came up, he didn't want to play for the Texans. And so Nick Caserio's worst nightmare would be we deal Deshaun to Miami, then, assuming he's allowed to play, because again, commissioner's exemplets could be a possibility. Although, again, you saw who Stephen Ross was sitting next to at the game yesterday. You got to wonder if that conversation was broached, that if at any point Stephen and Roger Goodell had a little chat about, hey, Mr. Goodell, what do you think you're going to do with that commissioner's exempt list? You think a certain number 4 Houston might end up on that list if he's ever activated to play? But yeah, Nick Caserio's worst nightmare would be you trade Deshaun to Miami, and then November 7th, he suits up and plays, and he absolutely smokes the Houston Texans in that little revenge game. So the ball is in Houston's court right now. Mike Monaco from the Bronx writes in, let me ask you, would you risk all those picks for a guy that's going to get smashed because our O-line can't protect him? I, even beyond that, and I'll get to that, I'm still worried about how much time this guy could miss. Right? Well, what's, because it's not only Roger Goodell. Like, you can have the conversation, Mr. Goodell, are you going to put him on the commissioner's exempt list as soon as we try to activate the guy? The other thing is, you still have 22 pending civil cases. You still have 10 pending criminal complaints. So, unless maybe people know a few things behind the scenes about all this stuff is going to magically go away, that's my bigger concern. My bigger concern is you acquired Deshaun Watson, who, and you guys know how I feel. I think the guy's a scumbag. But, you acquire him and he's not allowed to play. That's my big concern. Ooh, thank you, Big G, for this. Flores just dropped some nuggets, says Raekwon is coming back, and Tua is now throwing. I did see the part about Tua. Tua is expected to be back for the Jacksonville game. He's on the IR, so he's got to sit out a third game. That's going to be this coming weekend against Tampa Bay. So Tua is expected to be back for the Jaguar game in London, which is October 17th, if I am not mistaken. But so as far as playing behind our offensive line, that's something I wanted to talk about today. And it's, the title of the episode, would Deshaun Watson save the Miami Dolphins? Your offensive line is so bad. Your special teams were inept yesterday, right? That, oh my God, jumping off sides, 4th and 3 when the Colts are punting and you give them a free first down, they score a touchdown. Jakeem Grant muffs a punt, giving free points right to Indianapolis. That was an absolute shit show. Your offense, Dolphins offense yesterday, they only produced 80 yards of total offense prior to the fourth quarter. They had 80 yards of total offense heading into quarter 4. And here's the thing, quarterbacks are not being protected, but I also saw how many throws Jacoby Brissett missed. How many throws did he put in the dirt? I can't believe a couple of weeks ago, this guy referred to himself as a starting quarterback in the NFL. This guy couldn't be a starting quarterback in the CFL. So inaccurate. Yesterday was really bad for his accuracy. Let's not forget the previous Sunday, it was a bad play call, but the pass that he threw to Waddle in the end zone that led to the safety, it was a bad enough play call, but he put it so high, Waddle had to leap up for it, and that guaranteed the safety because the throw was so inaccurate. Jacoby Brissett is not good. So I get it. Your offensive line is bad. They already got Tua hurt. They're not doing a very good job protecting Brissett. At the same time, guys, Jacoby Brissett left so many plays on the field. I've got to think Deshaun Watson at his physical best could have definitely won the game against Las Vegas and possibly could have won the game yesterday for the Dolphins. So do I think a quarterback can make a big difference? Absolutely. In fact, if Tua was healthy, I'm not so sure about yesterday, probably, but if Tua was healthy, I think you win that Raiders game. So, yeah, listen, some people look at this with such a defeated attitude, like, oh, Donno, it doesn't matter. Jacoby Brissett was back there. Everybody's so bad on this team. It doesn't matter who the quarterback is. They're going to lose. You're oversimplifying it way too much. Yes, the offensive line, terrible. Yes, special teams, laughable. Yes, the play calling, really, really bad. but the quarterbacking was also horrendous. So do I think Deshaun Watson could make a significant difference even playing behind that bad offensive line? Yes, I do. I think Tua could make a difference. I think Deshaun Watson could make a considerable difference. But if you keep raising the bar, okay, is this team a quarterback away from being a Super Bowl contender? No. Are they a quarterback away from being a team that can win a playoff game or two, maybe get to the AFC Championship? No. They've got big issues. But let's all admit that quarterbacking is part of that, especially now with Jacoby Brissett. I'm really anxious to see how Tua does when he comes back. Assuming Deshaun Watson isn't brought in before Tua comes back. But let's say Tua comes back for that Jaguars game. The Jaguars are bad. You play against the Jaguars in London. If Tua has a really good game, how much would that do to really instill confidence in the fan base? Because, Dolphins fan base, I'd say most NFL fan bases are very reactionary. What have you done for me lately? Coming off a bad loss, you feel like your whole world sucks, right? Coming off a nice win, we're back, baby. Tua is back. All the haters can eat it. So I'd love to see he comes back in that Jaguars game and has a nice game and shreds a bad Jaguars team, what the coverage is going to be like. For yesterday, despite Jacoby Brissett starting, despite the Dolphins' offensive line having the problems that they're having, I really thought the Dolphins were going to win that game. I really thought the Dolphins were going to show out against an 0-3 Colts team with a quarterback with a couple of bum ankles. His ankle seemed better yesterday. A Colts team with a bunch of injuries and big offensive line problems of their own. I thought the Dolphins would really, really be able to show out yesterday. I mentioned the terrible mistake jumping off sides. That was Brennan Scarlett. That was embarrassing. You also had Jason Sanders put a kickoff out of bounds that set up a short field for Indy's final touchdown. Now, Jason Sanders doesn't usually make a ton of mistakes. I also thought you potentially left 3 points on the field. Do you remember that sequence in the first half when the Dolphins lined up like they were going to kick a 55-yard field goal, which Sanders, I know it's not a high percentage kick, but Sanders can make those. Like Jason Sanders can make a 55-yard field goal. And instead of actually taking it, the Dolphins let the play clock wind down. They willingly took a delay of game penalty so they could back up 5 yards for their punter. I thought you should have gone for that. I really thought you should have gone for that because Jason Sanders is capable of making those kicks. Oh, I love this from Welch. Donno mushed the internet. Even during the 3 hours when we couldn't get the show going because StreamYard was down, I was popping in on the YouTube live chat every now and then, seeing what people were talking about. And dude, this whole mush narrative, it's getting big. It is getting very, very big. My mush narrative. And I know our guy, Brooklyn Rob, Dave, they love that conversation. I didn't just mush the Dolphins over the weekend. They've also accused me of mushing Rob Gronkowski because I think, what was it that I said last Wednesday or Thursday? Might have even been Friday because I can't remember when they put him on IR. It might have been on Friday's show when I predicted, and I was pretty close. I just got some of the personnel wrong, but I predicted the Buccaneers to win a very close game in New England. Most of you guys had it blowout. Oh, they're going to win by 3 touchdowns. The Bucs are going to smoke New England. No, I had it a close game, and I was saying game-winning drive for the Buccaneers, Brady to Gronkowski, and then the crowd is going to cheer Gronk and Brady louder than they cheer their own players. And by me putting that out in the universe, what happens? Gronkowski doesn't travel. He's on injured reserve. So, yeah, I totally mushed the guy. That was compelling as hell last night, by the way. So before the game, warm-ups, they cheered Brady like crazy. Like it was a job well done, very classy by the fans there in Foxborough. They gave Brady the hero's welcome. And then I think what happened there, because he got booed after that, like when he actually took the field to play, he got booed after that. I think the fans there at Gillette Stadium were really, really upset about how the Buccaneers had that team meeting on the Patriots logo, and that pissed them off. And so from that point forward, these guys are now the enemy. Brady, Buccaneers are the enemy. Oh, and I'm so glad this man was able to join us because we had to. We got sabotaged before, as you know. Antifa, they're circling my house right now. The globalists, they're after me. Soros, Hillary Clinton, Roger Goodell. They can't allow these truth bombs to get dropped here on Donno Daily. And and it's funny because before when we were trying to get on the air and we couldn't, I even had like a little off-air chat with Alfredo Arteaga because we were in here. We just couldn't go live. I'm so glad you were able to come back. Alf, how are you doing, sir? I hope you've recovered from just the terrible things we saw on the field yesterday.
Yeah, the globalists and the elites had to have been responsible for that yesterday. Here's the deal. Donno. Yeah, yesterday was. I think it's the first time. Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe there was a game last year. Is this the first time a Dolphin team has underachieved under Brian Flores? I believe so.
Yeah,
they were an underdog against the Raiders, and they covered.
Yeah,
and they lost in overtime. They were really unlucky to lose that game. I felt they got hosed on that call in the end zone against the Raiders. But in this game against the Colts, I couldn't find many people that weren't expecting them to win. They were favored. And then they essentially really didn't compete until about the last 10 minutes of the fourth quarter.
So first thing I want to ask you, because we're having a little discussion, me and the commenters earlier, how much does quarterback matter over these last couple of games? Because I think people are simplifying it too much. I think if anybody says, oh, no, it doesn't matter who's playing quarterback. When your line is that bad, you're going to lose every game. Now, Jacoby Brissett left a ton of plays on the field, Alf. And I'm not just talking about this hypothetical Deshaun Watson thing. I think even if Tua was out there, the Dolphins could have won one or even both of these last couple of games. Because, listen, I know he's not getting a lot of protection, but Jacoby Brissett has been bad, inaccurate, and apparently he was checking down from a lot of downfield throws to throw these 2-yard outs that he loves so much. Like, honestly, I'm not saying the Dolphins are a quarterback away from being a Super Bowl contender, but I do think they're a quarterback away from at least winning some of these games.
Yeah, I don't think it's crazy to think that they're probably 3-1 if Tua plays these last two games. And yeah, if we're going to talk about conspiracy theories and the globalists and the elites and what they're trying to get to us, but this game really did look like Jacoby Brissett was trying to make sure, I'm going to be as efficient as possible so they can't blame me for this, and I'm just going to check down consistently. And he ended up with a decent passer rating, which I think is absolutely ridiculous that some people are actually trying to defend his play. If you watch it, he's just leaving big play after big play out on the field. And then when he's not leaving big plays on the field, he's extending plays and then fumbling. When the game is there to be won, you're fumbling at your own 20-yard line after going 15 yards back and holding the ball for almost 7 seconds. Get rid of it. If you can't find anybody in 7 seconds, you're not going to find them now. Yeah. So why fumble at your own 20-yard line and essentially lose the game right there on that snap?
It's well said. Alfredo Arteaga from 3 yards per carry here on the 5 Reasons Sports Network joins us. Things continue to get worse on the field, not better for Austin Jackson. Like he's regressing before our eyes week to week. Do we simply need to go into the trade market to fix this offensive line? Does Greg Little deserve at least a shot to get out there and play? What do we do in the short term?
Yeah, in the short term, they made a signing today, which is a really, really good one. They signed Austin Reeder off of the Saints practice squad.
I didn't see that. Nice.
Yeah, he's a center. He's a good player. He's a good NFL center. That should solve their center issue for the short term. Okay, but yeah, they got to do something about left tackle. If not even now, it's for the long term. I don't think Austin Jackson. I've never seen it before, where a guy can have this bad a run to start his second season and actually recover from it. Like he needs a stint on the IR, and I don't know how the NFLPA works on this, but if you could fake an injury, now's the time to do it. Fake an injury. He needs 3 weeks off. Retrain, work on some technique, clear his mind, because his play has just been, it's gone from horrific against Buffalo and unprofessional, in my opinion, to just bad against the Raiders. And now he's consistently bad. So at least there's an improvement from trying to fix an NFL game to just god awful. So I guess that's an improvement, but it's not good enough if you're trying to win NFL games. So I think it's one of those things where, you know what, if you're Coach Flores and you're the team, you got to start thinking about, you know what, let's find an injury. Saddle him with something.
There's got to be something there, right?
Yeah,
I don't think any NFL player heading into week 5 is completely healthy. They can find something.
Yeah, find something, put him on IR for 3 weeks, and then we'll give it a go in 3 weeks. and then maybe, you give it a go in 3 weeks, it's not still working, then it's probably time to, end that experiment. So, but yeah, they need to do something drastically different.
Well, and speaking of doing something drastic, and it sounds like you caught Flo's comments today. I only caught bits and pieces of it today while I was filming my conspiracy videos that I guess were way too important than actually paying attention to what's going on. But it sounds like Brian Flores did address this weird chain of command thing with the offensive coordinators. It's like somebody needs to Photoshop, instead of 2.5 men, 2.5 coordinators, because it's like we came into the season thinking, okay, we have like 2 potential play callers. We actually have 3, because Charlie Fry is the one actually relaying the plays. And then you've got Godsey and Studesville. It's like the 3 Stooges back there. And listen, Alf, before the season started, I really wanted this to work. Like, I'm not one of those people who the second that they promoted 2 OCs, I'm like, oh, this is terrible. I said, no, listen, they're trying something a little bit different. These are 2 guys who have really good rapport with Tua, so maybe I'll just trust Flo on this one. I was optimistic about it. There's obviously something not working there. Should they make changes? Like, if not actual firings, do they need to at least change the way these guys are communicating and calling the plays?
Absolutely. You should start right there, right? Like, we're at a situation where you might even just have to fire somebody for show, right? Like, you might just have to pick somebody on the offensive staff, let them go, pay them the balance of the year, and just say, it's time. It's time to just, do something different. And we're starting here, even though, it's probably not, the actual fix you're going to get long term, right? But there's actually, and it's funny that you ask about the 2.5 coordinators, because everybody seems to have a different theory, right? And Jay Feely yesterday was saying, "Oh, Charlie Fry is actually calling the plays," and he was saying like if it was an actual thing, right? There's now an actual rumor, okay? And I hate to feed into the globalists and the elites and the Chinese Communist Party here.
All right. And Antifa, don't forget Antifa.
Antifa, of course.
And by the way, real quick, thank you so much, John Marco, for the super chat. You're very kind. I feel like Randy Quaid in Major League 2 with how the Fins make me feel. Bring out the tarp, cover the field. I can't watch this anymore. That's fantastic. Yeah, but go ahead. And don't say anything that's going to get us deplatformed here. Be careful, because the globalists are always watching.
Of course, and the elites. Yeah, you can't forget the elites. All right,
elites.
Okay, and please don't say anything bad about Facebook.
Oh my God!
All right, there is a rumor out there, and there is some evidence online. If you know where to look for it, okay. And I'm not going to feed too much into this, and I'm not going to give you links, so don't hit me up on Twitter. But there might have been a 4th offensive coordinator yesterday.
What?
Yes. Okay. So yeah, put that thing on. In fact, I should have had mine ready. All right. So I could have put it on.
Who's the 4th coordinator?
I don't know. Maybe the head coach. Maybe the head coach was spotted with the offensive play sheet in the 4th quarter, talking into his headset.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. Wow. There's a lot of cameras. When you watch one of these games on CBS, man, it's a incredible thing how many cameras they have and how many they train on the head coach, right? Yeah. And they could catch the head coach doing certain things.
Yeah.
So it's an absolute mess. I'm dying to see, what they're going to do this weekend against the Bucks. The Bucks just finished playing a game in a driving rainstorm against the New England Patriots. I guess that's what the Dolphins can use, right? A driving rainstorm to try to equalize things, because if not, this is where it comes to a head, right? And they'll just get absolutely killed on Sunday. Perfect weather, they're going to get absolutely killed. And then what they're going to do is they're going to hand a 1-4 team to Tua Tagovailoa and tell them, "Hey, save us." You know,
much, yeah.
after you left us when we were 1-0. So yeah, there's nothing good coming out of what these last 3 games.
Oh man, this is too good. Alfredo Arteaga is with us here on Donno Daily on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. In a few minutes, we're going to be joined by Allana Tachauer because Alf, at least the good news is for suffering football fans like us, the Miami Heat play a preseason game tonight. The Florida Panthers are already playing preseason games. I would highly advise anybody on here because I know, listen, hockey in South Florida, it's hit or miss when it comes to the fans. I think this is, and I've been saying this for 20 years, but I really think this is a good year to start getting invested with the Panthers because they're going to make you feel better than our Dolphins have been making me feel, and certainly better than my Canes have been making me feel lately. So yeah. So and listen, Alf, and another thing on what you were talking about with the fourth coordinator, if that happened, if Brian Flores ended up calling plays, then here's the way I read it. Like he's getting really fed up, right? He's getting really fed up with the job that his staff is doing. And so that would lead me to believe maybe something does get changed there within the next few days.
Yeah, the body language was not good. But you know what's also not good? All of these websites that give you all these numbers and these snap counts, because I'm not sure the Dolphins really still believe in playing their best players.
Yeah, but what's up with Myles Gaskin? And then we don't, and for the second week in a row, we don't see Gesicki and Parker really get targeted until the fourth quarter. And guess what? When you throw to those guys, it works. And how does Myles Gaskin get 2 carries yesterday?
That makes absolutely 0 sense. It also makes 0 sense that Savon Ahmed, your fastest running back, gets 5 snaps in that game yesterday. And it also doesn't make any sense whatsoever that John Jenkins plays 49 snaps, more snaps than Zach Sealer or Adam Butler.
Yeah.
Both of which are really, really good players. One of which, Zach Sealer, in my opinion, is an unsung hero and probably a top 10 defensive tackle in the NFL. But if you look at those snap counts, they're all out of whack. Okay, Jalen Phillips had his best game as a pro. 6 pressures yesterday. He was all over.
I like that.
He was all over Carson Wentz. He also got saddled with an awful call. That was not roughing the passer. He did not grab a face mask. He grabbed the shoulder pad. There is a difference. That's something that they have to review because that play right there went from the Colts trying a 50-yard field goal to the Colts getting a 1st and goal at the 10 and then scoring a touchdown 3 plays later. So, you know, there's issues all over the field right now. And I don't know if there's any quick fixes. There's absolutely no quick fix coming this Sunday. So they're staring at 1-4, and then their season will start when Tua comes back.
Yeah, amen. Well, that's really good stuff, man. I'll let you go on that note. You want to make sure you follow his show because 3 yards per carry is a must listen. Now, chances are everybody in here already knows and subscribes to 3 yards per carry. If you don't, I don't know what you're waiting for because if you're a Dolphin fan, this is a one-stop shop for all your Dolphins news, and Alf, of course, is a huge part of that. And I want to make sure I get the Twitter handle right. It's Alf_Arteaga. Is that right?
Yeah, it's Alf_Arteaga. That's where you could go and lodge all your complaints. What happened on Sunday? So have at it.
I love it. Thank you so much, man. Enjoy the rest of your week.
Thank you for having me, Donno.
Good stuff. And real quick before I bring Allana into the stream, Joseph was asking how much is Deshaun Watson going to cost in your opinion? I'll give you what my source told me last week, and then about 12 hours after I was told this, Josina Anderson said something pretty similar on CBS. So I was told that Deshaun Watson would cost the Dolphins because what Houston's looking for could vary slightly from team to team, depending on what assets every team has. But I'm told that from the Dolphins, they would want 3 first-round picks, 1 second-round pick, and 2 third-round picks. That's the asking price. And Josina Anderson said what Houston is looking for, and she was painting it with a broad brush for any team that might be interested. Although it sounds to me like the Dolphins are really the only team in the race right now. because Jay Glazer said Philly is out of it. So Josina Anderson said the Texans are looking for 3 first-round picks and 3 additional assets. So that makes me feel pretty good about what my source told me last week, that from the Dolphins it would be 3 first-round picks, 1 second-round pick, and 2 third-round picks, which does add up to 3 first-round picks plus 3 additional assets. But again, I don't have anything new since the game yesterday, so it doesn't feel to me like anything is happening today. I was told that the ball is in Houston's courts. Speaking of courts and speaking of balls and speaking of things that will hopefully put a smile on my face because my football teams are in the mud, we got Miami Heat basketball coming back, and it is coming back tonight. Hallelujah.
I'm so hyped.
Yeah.
So hyped.
Oh my God, it's so great because like last week, Allana Tachauer joins us now. Thank you so much for hopping aboard, especially, and huge thanks to both Alf and Allana, because they were going to join the show at 12:15 and 12:40 respectively. The internet let us down today, so we had to push everything back like 3 hours, and I can't thank you enough. I totally would have understood if you couldn't make the later time. I'm so glad you could.
Well, now you get a more caffeinated version of me too, so really it worked out for the best.
Same here. I had like 4 espressos today, and sometimes
we love a 4-shot day. It's a Monday, right? Like you got to do it.
It is a Monday, but then sometimes the 4th one, like it backfires. I'm a little lightheaded now because I think I got to know when to stop. But I never know when to stop. So as far as our excitement level tonight, last week when the Heat had that scrimmage, I was hanging on every word that Brady Hawk and Ethan Skolnick tweeted, and Ethan joined me Friday right after the scrimmage to talk about it. So I can only imagine how hype I'm going to be for preseason game 1. What do you look for in a first preseason game? Because obviously the score doesn't really matter. Well, what are you looking for the Heat to accomplish tonight?
Honestly, I'm just happy to be back, so I will watch whatever they give me. But I think first and foremost is team chemistry, right? Like that's what it's going to take. Yeah, Michael doesn't drink coffee, which honestly is the strangest thing to me.
Strange.
Like, are you even a human being if you don't drink coffee? I don't understand.
Yeah, I judge people. I remember a friend of mine got really mad at me. He's a radio host up the state in Florida, Mark Moses. He got really mad at me like last year because I was tweeting about how I can't trust an adult who doesn't drink coffee.
As you shouldn't. What do you do in the mornings? Like, how do you get through your life? And also, honestly, I love the taste of coffee. Like for me, it's really not even about the caffeine. So I just don't get it.
See, this confirms Michael is a child still.
Well, we knew this already, though. That's nothing new.
He drinks chocolate milk in the morning? Like, bro, I haven't sipped chocolate milk since I was 8. Like,
Michael's
you're an adult.
Palate in general when it comes to food is very questionable. We get into it literally on the daily. So I can expose him another time. But yeah, he needs to do a little better.
I think he eats those the dinosaur shaped chicken nuggets that my kid eats.
And the oatmeal with the dino eggs that explode.
Oh, I've never seen that.
Oh wow. Yeah, they're like brown sugar eggs, I think, and then they melt in the microwave, and they become like dinosaur shapes. But I think it's just sugar, colored sugar.
we got so sidetracked. Michael is derailing the show. So what are you what are you hoping to see tonight?
For me, honestly, it's team chemistry, right? Like there's so many new pieces that I think the guys just need time to acclimate. But I'm just excited for them to get back out there because I know people can say what they want about last year. Last year wasn't real. And what the Heat did was not indicative of who this team is. So I think setting the tone early is going to be really exciting. And seeing guys like obviously PJ Tucker out there, Kyle Lowry, just having everyone healthy, ready to go. I will take what I can get, but I think it's going to be a good showing.
Yeah, absolutely. What's been because listen, I know that some people on NBA Twitter pay closer attention to like what people are arguing about. Is there like some drama with Raptors fans? Because like I see a lot of like Ethan Skolnick's tweets that seem to be directed at like petty Raptors fans about Kyle. Are they petty about Lowry? Because I know some dudes up in Canada. Now maybe the problem is like they're bigger hockey fans than they are basketball fans. That might be the issue, but I know people in Toronto, and the people that I talk to like are saying, hey, like take good care of Lowry, he's a good one. But apparently there's some pettiness too.
So I'm gonna go ahead and say that I think it's Heat Twitter starting the war here. Listen, I have not been a fan of Heat Twitter. I just think they're kind of entitled children. I'm sure there are some Raptors fans out there that are, trying to cause a scene, but overall, I think that Canadians are the nicest people. So I don't know. I don't try to involve myself in that drama. I am too grown for that type of behavior. And also, to your point, a lot of the stuff I have seen have just been like, take good care of him. He was, the rock of our organization for X amount of years. So I don't know where this is starting from. But I have a feeling that Ethan is fueling the flame a little bit.
Like, what would like the Lowry equivalent is he the Dwayne Wade of Toronto? Because like obviously like probably the best guy to ever play there was Kawhi, but that was just 1 year, one championship, and Bosch back in the day, but didn't win anything there. Like Lowry has got to be their Wade, right? Vince Carter is not that either.
Absolutely. I think that's a great kind of comparison to make. Kawhi, I'm sure they're very thankful for his services, but I don't think he ever necessarily meant that much to the organization. It was kind of a stop along the way, seemingly. I do think DeRozan, is kind of an honorable mention there too. But yeah, for sure. I think Lowry is their Wade. And I think that they're definitely going to miss him, but I don't think there's any need to, beef between fan bases. Like that's just, there's fan bases as a Heat fan that I like a lot less than Toronto. So I'm not going to partake in this beef.
Well, who's on your hated list? I know Indiana is there. You've told me that.
I do not like Indiana, but that's just more of the city. I am the Celtics. You can get out of here with that. I think they're so problematic as an organization. Those fans are the worst. I have a friend who's a diehard Celtics fan who's probably going to hate me after this, but I can't with the Celtics. Predominantly, I think that would be my biggest one. Also Philly, right? Like we don't like the 76ers or something to like.
Yeah. Those are all on my list, by the way. So we're very much in lockstep. I would also throw in Knicks fans, although at some point I just start to feel sad for them. But, they got into the playoffs last year, so they got very cocky. So I don't feel as bad for them as I used to. But for 25 years, they accomplished nothing.
See, I don't know if it's because I technically grew up a Chicago Bulls fan because obviously I'm born and raised here. But the Knicks, like I don't care for them, but I don't care about them either. Like they're not on my most hated list. So I don't know if they even crack my top 5. They're just there. They're kind of like the Sacramento Kings for me. Ooh. Like they're just around, but like they don't bother me. I'm not irked by them.
And honestly, that's the best diss, to compare them to the Sacramento Kings.
Which I didn't even mean to do because my boy Mo Harkless is over in Sacktown. So like a part of me still, and also I don't know if anyone remembers Omri Caspi. I thought I was going to marry him. Like that was like, I was like, I'm going after this man and we're sealing the deal. So I don't like even hate Sacramento, but it's just like the Knicks are kind of just there.
Oh, wow. Allana Tachauer is with us here on the 5 Reasons Sports Network on Donno Daily. So something I did want to ask you about as well. We've talked about Victor Oladipo before, knock on wood. Last week at Media Day, no Nuggets. Spo wouldn't give us a timetable. Depot wouldn't give us a timetable, but we did hear some recent optimistic reports. In the meantime, do you worry at all about, about the backcourt and about the idea that Gabe Vincent is on paper your backup point guard? Because, God forbid anything happens to Lowry. How much does that concern you?
It doesn't concern me. I think that obviously once Depot's back, that elevates us an enormous amount, and it's not shade to Gabe Vincent, but like, let's be real, it's Depot. But I honestly think that Gabe is going to surprise a lot of people. I don't think he's going to be some standout player, and he's not going to, make or break the team. But he did talk about the fact that he wants to kind of go back to, or at least try and be more of a traditional point guard in terms of kind of, helping other guys get better looks and kind of just be the floor general that way. But I also think his shooting should get better, if only because he'll have more of a shot now, no pun intended, but he didn't really get a lot of tick before. So I think he'll be okay. I also think that, Tyler coming off the bench is more so what we need to watch out for in terms of kind of relying on the second unit to stay strong. I think what happened a lot of the times last season, even if we were in the lead, that lead dropped, when the second unit came in and then we were playing from behind and sometimes couldn't catch up. Or if we did, it was always like a hard fought win. But I think Tyler's going to be fine. And I think that for now, Gabe Vincent is going to do right by the team. But obviously anxiously awaiting Depot's return.
Love it. Great job here as always. Allana Tachauer on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. By the way, how's the weather there in Chicago? Because down here in Miami, we've dipped from like 90 degrees to like 87 degrees. And I feel that crisp 87-degree breeze on
I
me.
don't
What's it
know
like up there?
how you do it. We are warmer than we are generally this time of year. It's probably like maybe high 60s, low 70s.
That's so
It was
nice.
raining earlier and it's cloudy now, so I'll take it. But yeah, I don't know how you do that. 87 in October.
It's terrible. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Hold on. I can tell you literally the temperature because 87 was just me spitballing. Hold on. Let me pull up the old weather
I need
app
seasons.
here.
I need fall. Like basketball, the start of
it's-
basketball doesn't feel the same.
It's 84. It's freezing.
Yeah. I mean, go put a hoodie on. What are you doing?
But the thing is, if it's 84 now, I'm guessing, okay, I think the high today was around 86 because this is, I mean, it's almost 4 o'clock here. So this is not the hottest it's been all day. It must have been high 80s.
You need to take a trip to Chicago just to like take in the actual crisp air. All the leaves have started to change in fall. So.
You know, I've never been there to Chicago. Never been.
What are you doing?
I don't
know. We have so many great things to offer. I can give you a list of things to do and stuff to eat. Our food here is A1.
I've heard. And it's more than just deep dish, I'm told, because that's usually what people associate with Chicago. I got to what is it like the
fan of personally?
Yeah, I'm not really either. And it's more like I get in arguments with people just for the sake of getting in arguments because I'm a pizza snob. And I'll say that you really deep dish pizza. It's like a meat quiche. Like it's not really.
See, I can't have dairy. So it would have to be
a hard one.
Fake cheese, and that's a lot of fake cheese to stomach. Like a little bit here and there is fine. I just go cheeseless. I actually had pizza last night. I had an extra thin crust.
Ooh.
Yeah, see, nice. People know what's up. Al's beef is kind of a staple. I don't eat red meat, but I've heard
like the Italian beef sandwiches are legendary. I've heard I would love that.
Well, I mean, it's time to plan a trip.
It is. I came I feel like Chicago is one of those places where it's like cursed that I've never gone out there because I've traveled quite a bit, but it's usually like one coast or the other. You know, I've been to Europe because I have family over there, and there was a time I was really close at one point going to Chicago, and then it was with a few friends, and I don't know. I think
we're just thrown into the Midwest, which like no one cares about except for Chicago.
Yeah,
so I understand that. You would have to be like if you're going from like I don't know New York to California, and you just want to stop along the way. Yeah, Michael loves stuffed crust pizza. Fun fact: I know all about Michael. The amount of time we have spent talking about his food tastes. I can literally list off like 5 of his favorite things, which I will not throw him under the bus. At least here. Awesome. Maybe I'll save it for the pod.
Yeah, it's probably like Capri Suns, dinosaur-shaped chicken nuggets, fruit snacks, like all the stuff my kid eats. Goldfish crackers. That's
Michael
his diet.
Is not a big fruit guy. Fun
really?
fact. I will give you that nugget. Yes.
Okay. It's interesting. What's is that another place in Chicago?
I actually haven't heard about that. Listen, sugar-free ketchup's the only way to go. Organic.
You actually like that? I've had sugar-free ketchup, and I think it's better because like the regular Heinz, it's a little sweet. Like I don't like I like sweet things, but not with things that are also salty.
Yep, and especially if you have like sweet potato fries, it's too much sweetness unless it's sugar-free. Like you're just getting hit over the head with it.
Oh, and my guy Juan knows Napolitana for life. Yeah, talking about pizza. That's why, like I'll say, you can't call it pizza unless it's Neapolitan style. Allana, I cannot thank you enough for taking the time. Thank you so much. And I'm guessing you're probably going to be tweeting a lot during the game tonight.
Absolutely.
Everyone should follow you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I will definitely probably be tweeting too much. And then Michael and I are actually recording Feel the Heat tonight. So a new episode will be live tomorrow.
That's fantastic. That was going to be my next question. Nailed it. Allana Tachauer. Follow her on Twitter at Allana Tachauer, and make sure you check out Feel the Heat. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. Let's go Heat.
Awesome stuff there by Allana. Let's see what this is from Jason Davis. A little behind here, but do you think Flo could be saving his best players for when Tua gets back in order to get a good read on Tua if he's the guy moving forward? I mean, I think you're overthinking it because every game you lose makes it harder and harder to get into the playoffs, which needs to be the Dolphins' goal. You put your best players on the field. You feature your best players. The fact that we don't even try to get the football into the hands of Devontae Parker and Mike Gesicki until the fourth quarter 2 weeks in a row, it's embarrassing. The fact that for some reason Malcolm Brown starts the game yesterday and Salvon Ahmed barely gets any work, and Myles Gaskin, who I think is criminally underrated. Maybe I'm starting to be the only one that underrates the guy because clearly Flo doesn't like him very much. Just gets 2 carries yesterday. There's something up with this. Like this offense has been bad, and my opinion, I don't think Flo is or even really should be on the hot seat, but I think Chris Grier should be because personnel, huge issues, right? When your first round cornerback from 2020 can't get on the field, that's a big problem. And from the same draft, your first round left tackle is an embarrassment. He's not a professional left tackle. That's a huge strike on the record of Chris Grier. The jury is still out on the quarterback that you drafted 5th overall. And part of the reason why the jury is still out is everybody knew Tua was injury prone in college. And guess what? He's now been injured twice at the NFL. Now, the hit that he took against the Bills was not his fault. That was Jesse Davis's fault. So maybe anybody would have gotten hurt on that play. But still, Tua has not been available enough to really get a read on what he can do. And that's unfortunate. And so, yeah, you've got a general manager who made trades that at the time I thought were great. I mean, you get the assets back that you got for Laramie Tunsil. We all thought, wow, this is a mugging. Like he has robbed the Houston Texans blind with what he was able to do with that trade. Has that trade aged well? No. In fact, if you're the Houston Texans, maybe they should rehire Bill O'Brien because they can look, Bill, we thought you did a terrible job trading all those draft picks. We thought you did a terrible job trading all those picks for Laramie Tunsil. You know what? We'd much rather have Laramie Tunsil than the players the Dolphins drafted with those picks. Fine job, sir. The Minkah Fitzpatrick trade, you got multiple high round draft picks in return for Minkah. And I thought, Chris Grier did a fantastic job. I'd rather have Minkah than the players you got. I'd rather have Laramie Tunsil than the players you got in return. So it is really tough. Is this why Facebook was down today? A Facebook whistleblower revealed herself today or yesterday. So put your tinfoil hats on, everybody, for the outages today. So were these outages? Now, what did the whistleblower say? Because I know so little about this. Let me describe my routine for you guys, okay? Because some of you out there will, when you're home, you'll listen to NPR. You'll turn on the news and whatever your political inclination is, I don't care. I'm very politically all over the place, neutral on some things, rebellious on other things. But whether you're watching CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, you guys are keeping up with issues. My routine is I'm either checking crypto prices and watching crypto analysts. I am watching sports highlights or sports games. I'm here streaming or hosting various shows. And if I'm not doing any of those things, I'm watching cartoons with my kid. His favorites are Paw Patrol, Puppy Dog Pals. He loves dogs, this kid. What else does he like? Bluey, another show with dogs. Go figure. So I don't. And David said, he tweeted me a link. Listen, sir, here's the deal. Globalists are behind this. So George Soros, Hillary Clinton, Antifa, Roger Goodell. Alex gets his news from Alex Jones. I find him to be very entertaining because my thing is that like some people are so dumb that they listen to analysts, news people with strong opinions on things, and they're like, well, because he said it, he must be, every conspiracy theory he says must be true, and I believe everything. Like I can listen to somebody like that for the comedy of it. Like I can listen to that dude and be like, wow, this guy is off his rocker. Oh my God, how did he come up with that? Where did that come from? So yeah, I can be entertained. Juan writes in, Flores has not been able to hire a competent offensive coordinator. Gailey saved him last year. You're right about that. The Gailey era, I still don't like what Chan Gailey did here last year because I thought he didn't do Tua any favors with the way he called games for Tua. But Chan Gailey's brief Dolphins tenure is actually aging pretty well. Okay? Because you compare Chan Gailey to the 2.5 coordinators that you have now, and Chan Gailey seems competent compared to what's going on now. Got a Texans fan chiming in. Coming from a Texans fan, any team would be better with Watson, even if they had a trash O-line. He is that good. I agree with you. I guarantee if he went to any contending team, he would win a Super Bowl that year. I agree with everything you said, including the part where I don't think the Miami Dolphins are a contending team, and you probably agree with that. Would Deshaun Watson, assuming he's allowed to play, would he make the Dolphins better? Yes. People oversimplify it and say, oh, that offensive line is so bad. Doesn't matter who your quarterback is. Aaron Rodgers, Pat Mahomes, Tom Brady, Joe Montana in his prime. Doesn't matter who your quarterback is. They would all get killed. None of them could win behind that offensive line. Not exactly, honestly. I think Tua probably would have won at least one of these last 3 games, probably 2 of these last 3 games that you lost. Deshaun Watson could have won 2, if not 3 of these last 3 games that you've lost in a row. Quarterbacking does make a difference. Having a great quarterback can put a Band-Aid on it, okay? Now, where I draw the line is I look at this Dolphins team and I say they've got, serious offensive line problems, serious offensive game planning and play calling problems. Yesterday, they had a ton of special teams problems. Now, I think the defense is playing well enough to win. Have they left some plays on the field? Absolutely. But I still think this defense is playing well enough to win. And the problem with your defense is if your offense can't move the chains, stay on the field, and your special teams are muffing punts and giving away free touchdowns and putting you in terrible field position and not letting you get any rest, the defense is going to suffer. That's complementary football. Your offense and your special teams are not doing your defense any favors. So I'm not blaming the defense. I'm not blaming the defense for the Dolphins losing this game, because if your offense could actually give you some leads and give you some rest, then your defense would be able to get more sacks, get more turnovers. I mean, every defense is better when they play with a lead and get some rest every now and then. So the Dolphins are being hung out to dry. So this defense to me is good enough. But this team has serious issues right now from the top down when you're talking about the organization. So I don't think they're a quarterback away from being a Super Bowl contender or a Super Bowl winner. I think it takes more than that. I think they're more than a quarterback away. Now, honestly, if you tell me, because again, I've had a lot to say the last couple of weeks about the possibility of the Dolphins trading for Deshaun Watson. I'm not a fan of his as a human being, but he's one hell of a quarterback. Not a fan of his as a human being. And I have a lot of concerns about where this legal stuff is going to take him if he's going to have to miss significant time. So the ideal scenario for me would be Tua Tagovailoa comes back in 2 weeks, week and a half, 13 days to be exact, plays incredible, liftoff Tua to the moon. That would be fantastic, because then you get to keep all those assets, right? You don't have to trade 3 first-rounders, a second-rounder, 2 third-rounders for Deshaun Watson, who maybe would come in and miss games. So my ideal scenario would be Tua Tagovailoa ends up just being a later bloomer, and you can figure out, hopefully, maybe you trade for Taylor Decker. Oh my God, I would love that. If you could get Taylor Decker from Detroit before the deadline, I know it's one of 5 offensive line starters. He could make this team a lot better. If you can find a way to salvage something on this O-line and find a way to keep Tua healthy and keep all those draft picks, even though I don't know if I trust this organization to use those draft picks properly. Man. I don't really want Watson. I don't. And I appreciate. You know who's really lucky today? We let the Canes off the hook today. For anybody wondering what's going on behind the scenes, because a lot of people thought coming out of Thursday night, losing to Virginia at home, how does Manny Diaz survive the weekend? Like, how does he get through the weekend with a job? Blake James, same thing. And you know me, I think the Miami Hurricanes' problems a lot more than head coach, okay? The whole athletic department needs an enema. I said this last week. Instead of hiring head coaches from Temple, which Miami has done twice, instead of hiring head coaches from Temple, they should be hiring an exorcist from the Vatican. Like, they need sweeping philosophy changes and probably personnel changes in the administration to really get that program running. But if anybody had any doubts about Manny Diaz, I'd say the fact that he did his scheduled Monday morning interview on the Joe Rose show this morning tells you he's safe for a bit, at least for now. So a lot of us thought Virginia last Thursday was a must-win game. Clearly it wasn't, at least not for him. This coming, actually, no, they have a bye week. So the following Saturday, the 16th, is the next time the Hurricanes play in North Carolina. Now, North Carolina is not good this year. Miami's not good this year. North Carolina is not good this year, but they came to your house last year and beat the Canes 62-26. So yeah, Miami has to turn that around and get a win, because if they lose again, then you fall to 0-2 in ACC, 0-2 in the Coastal. Then it's going to be a real problem. A real problem. McFact writes in, what a great name. Nothing but McFacts from McFact. Gailey has been a good offensive guy. Well, I mean, yeah, he's been around since the leather helmet days. I mean, Chan Gailey has been an offensive play caller since before the forward pass was implemented. So yeah, he's got a good track record from back in the day. That's gonna about wrap it up for us. Again, I thank everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. Oh, Manny, do you want to say something, Manny? You're waving at me all frantically.
No, Gators suck. Eagles suck. Dolphins suck. Canes suck. Real Madrid suck. Everything sucks. Let's go Heat, baby.
What's going on with has anything, because I saw them lose to Sheriff, but what about in La Liga? Are they doing any better domestically?
No.
Wow, that sucks.
No. I think they're looking at Barcelona and they might feel bad for themselves. So, hey.
Yeah, Barcelona's bad. I mean, my God. It's terrible.
By the way, you better not let the Canes off the hook tomorrow.
No, I'm not going to let him off. I let him off the hook today. I spent exactly, I don't know, like 120 seconds talking about the Canes. Sell those shoes for good luck. He could probably get like $200 for those shoes.
By the way, did you go over our game picks?
Ooh, no, I did not.
Tomorrow. Let's
go over that tomorrow. So so every Friday,
Rob, I think my new name should be Manny Mush.
Yeah, Brooklyn Rob, get ready. I didn't do that terrible in our game picks. So, yeah, so we'll reveal those tomorrow, the standings. So every Friday, Manny, Sean, and I pick 4 NFL games. We all pick the same 4 games against the spread, and we compete. Now, I'll remind you guys, we do plenty of gambling advice on this show, but that segment is not one of them. I do not select those games necessarily because I have strong plays on them. I select those games because they're either the best games of the weekend or I find the spreads to be really challenging. So that's why I select those games. A couple of those games, though, I did bet on. Like actually, all three out of 4 of those games, I did place bets on. I did bet the Dolphins -2. That did not work out for me. But I bet the Patriots plus 7.5. Cha-ching. And I bet the Browns -2 in Minnesota. Cha-ching. So 2 out of 3. I can't remember what the 4th game was that we picked, but I didn't bet whatever the 4th one was. But we'll go over the standings tomorrow. We pick 4 games every week. Sean Stanley historically has been the mush of this show because he's had a really poor run. But we will tell you whether or not he's catching up tomorrow. But yeah, speaking of betting, and again, the pick segment is not betting advice. We do, though, frequently give betting advice on this program. And I want to remind you guys, we have an official sports book of Donno Daily. And listen, whether you're taking my advice or fading my advice like Brooklyn Rob does, because Brooklyn Rob says everything that Donno picks, he bets the opposite, okay? It doesn't matter whose advice you're taking. You want to place your wagers at America's favorite sports book, BetUS.com. This is a full-service sports book. If you've never used an online sports book before, first of all, this one to me is the Rolls-Royce of online sports books. And it's basically like instead of walking into the sports book in Vegas, you have a sports book in your smartphone on your computer because BetUS.com, you do everything right there on your screen. You sign up and you use our code when you sign up, 5RSN125. If you use my code, 5RSN125, you get a special gift, a 125% sign-up bonus. So if you deposit $100, they're going to give you $125 of free play money right on top of that. And they don't have the crazy rollovers that some of these other sports book have. And BetUS does an awesome job with these bonuses. They keep you playing longer. And so you get 125% sign-up bonus if you deposit with a credit card, debit card. If you deposit with crypto, you get a 200% sign-up bonus. So how good is that? So if you make a $100 Bitcoin deposit, I think they also accept Ethereum for sure. And I think like Litecoin and Bitcoin Cash. So there's a few cryptos that they accept, a handful of them. If you make a crypto deposit with my code, they'll give you a 200% sign-up bonus. If you deposit $100 in Bitcoin, they're going to give you $200 on top of that in free play money. So make sure you're taking advantage of that. You bet, you win, you get paid. BetUS. And be checking out the Quarterdeck Seafood Bar and Neighborhood Grill. I love to get out there once a week, once every couple weeks. Last time I was there, I had the All-American Burger, which is so good. The guys, this is a step above a lot of the burgers you've had. They cook it perfectly to your specifications. You get that special secret sauce on top, melted cheese, the crispy bacon. The bun is perfectly toasted. So good. Tater tots on the side. Everything I've had at the Quarterdeck is delicious. The buffalo shrimp is my favorite appetizer. The seafood is so fresh there. The sushi, the oysters, Maine lobster, the fresh fish like the mahi-mahi. There are so many options. Drink specials all day, every day. They have 2-for-1 happy hour. That's literally all day, every day, 2-for-1 drinks. I love the 2-for-1 margaritas. I think that goes really well with most seafood. I love the 2-for-1 margaritas. If you go there on a Saturday, Sunday during football season, you can get the 5 for $15 ice cold buckets. Heineken family of beers, High Noon hard seltzer, mix and match them in the ice cold bucket. It is so freaking good to wash down your food with those while you're watching the great football. Catch every UFC pay-per-view fight at the Quarterdeck for zero cover charge. You know, the Quarterdeck, it's like a member of my family. They've been with me on my shows for a little over 10 years now. I think we recently eclipsed the 10-year mark. They've been with me since about 2011. And so I believe in it. I've been eating at the Quarterdeck for even longer than that. They've been with me on my shows for 10 years. I've been eating there for 15 years, and I've been having a great time all along, my friends. So check them out on the web if you want to find the location nearest to you, or just peep their menu before you go. The website is quarterdeckrestaurants.com. The Quarterdeck, come for the food, stay for the fun. We try to give some shout outs here. Today was extra busy in the chat, so I know I'm going to miss some folks. I apologize in advance. Paul, Brooklyn Rob, who's always a staple, shoeless Manny Chang, he says. I hope he takes those shoes off. David Rivera, Link, thank you. The other David, who's usually the first person in the chat. Let's see. Ashley Williams, thank you for coming in. By the way, I want to get to this comment. I understand your feelings on Watson's character, but the NFL is a business, and the Fins are in the business of winning Super Bowls. Go get Watson. And the other thing, I'm not going to change my opinion on his character, unless those women come out and say, just kidding, we made it all up, and I'm not expecting that, but it would take something like that for me to change my opinion of his character. But Ashley is right. I mean, there are people in the NFL probably right now that have done worse things than him, people who have played in the NFL in the past who have done far worse things. So listen, you're not wrong. The NFL is a business. And there are some unbelievably great people who play in that league that I've had the privilege to meet a lot of these guys in locker rooms over the years. And then there are other people who have probably done some terrible things. So yeah, listen, good and bad people everywhere. Thank you for listening. Mike Monaco in the Bronx, thank you so much. McFact, thank you. Terrence Henderson, Dion Brown, Sam W, thank you. Vlogs Gaming Music, thank you. PB Matthew, Al Green, Juan, Tevin. Let's see who else. Jesse Lockhart, my guy, one of the funniest Twitter accounts out there. I love that dude. Michael Christian, thank you. Fernando Lopez, thank you so much. Bromar Smelly, I love that dude. He said we need Watson. Blue Jones and Cynthia Wilcox, and now I'm tired of scrolling. Perfect. I'm not. I'm just kidding. Perfect Q. Okay, now I'm tired of scrolling. Thanks to everyone who tuned in. Thanks to everyone who took time out of their day, especially adapting to the time change. Usually I'm live every day, and I will be live tomorrow. As long as the internet doesn't break again, I will be live again tomorrow. And by the way, I just got a text from a friend of the show, Marla, who doesn't have a Google account, so she can't do the live chat, but she says, I do listen every day to every episode of Donno Daily. Thank you so much Thank you so much to everybody. Huge thanks to Allana Tachauer for jumping in, talking some Heat basketball. Heat played tonight against the Atlanta Hawks. Manny, that's a 7:30. It's a 7:30 game tonight, if I'm not mistaken.
I am on my way there.
Up. He's on his way there. Huge thanks to Allana. Huge thanks to Manny backstage doing great work. And thanks to Alf Arteaga as well for joining me. We will talk to you guys again tomorrow, back at the normal time, 12 noon, on another episode of Donno Daily on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. Ciao.